Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today's video is all about Battlefield 6, and today we have some very interesting stuff about this game, and honestly some of them are quite surprising. So to begin with, the Battlefield 6 environmental artist is apparently delivering 2 new maps next Friday, and he says he's been working on them for almost a year. And apparently every single map takes something around 6 months, half a year to basically make and polish. And it's quite interesting because we have no idea what these maps are, and they're probably going to be dropping with Season 2. I'm just guessing, okay? But that actually might be the case. However, we're also going to talk about Season 1 content because we've got some interesting stuff coming from Byron Beat. We're going to take a look at Henderson Bridge and the new Sobek City layouts for Conquest 64. It's going to be very interesting to take a look at those layouts as well. Also, Tom Henderson actually talks about some interesting stuff about the single-player campaign, things that actually might cause trouble for Battlefield 6, because, as I said, the gameplay and everything from the single-player campaign looks absolutely incomplete, and Tom Henderson is actually on the same page with me when it comes to this, so he's going to talk about his concerns, and in my opinion, those are very interesting to hear. And finally, we're going to talk about Portal 2 because you guys probably know it's going to be completely different compared to Portal 1, and it's going to give you a lot more freedom when it comes to customizing your experiences. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and start the video. Just keep in mind to go down in the comment section, let me know what you think about the video, the things we talk about, the single player campaign, and everything you basically believe is going to happen on Season 1, because apparently Season 1 is going to drop real quick after the launch of Battlefield 6. So this is from Daniel Cambrand. He's apparently the Battlefield 6 environments artist, and he says it's Friday. Next Friday is the deadline of the 2 maps that I've been working on for almost a year on Battlefield 6. I'm equally tired as I am proud. We're almost there. And by the way, this is from One Battlefield Telegram channel, and it appears that we have 2 completely unofficial maps getting ready for next Friday. And we don't know anything about them. We don't know what they're focusing on. We have basically zero idea what's going on here. But we do know for a fact that we have 2 maps coming next Friday, confirmed by Daniel Cambrand, the Battlefield 6 environment artist. Now, this might be very interesting because we don't know when these maps are going to drop, but my guess is probably Season 2, right? It's not going to be on launch or Season 1 because Season 1 basically drops shortly after launch. So it's going to probably be 2 new maps for Season 2. Now, I'm just guessing, but, you know, that's the closest I can guess. However, for Season 1 content, General Manager Byron Beat says the teams have made adjustments and fixes that will be coming both at launch and beyond. So there's a patch coming for the launch build of the game. This is from Byron Beat. Quote, "We've been making so many adjustments based on open beta feedback, adjustments to weapons, customization options, recoil, tap-fire characteristics, reward precision, and emphasizing their unique feel and performance. And you'll see through our brand new kinesthetics combat system, the movement mechanics have been adjusted. We're reducing slight jump momentum, penalizing jump spamming, and decreasing accuracy while firing mid-air to promote more tactical gameplay. We've also made other fixes and adjustments we can't wait for you to experience both at launch and beyond." Now, about the gameplay changes, about all the penalties, in my opinion, they might be too much. I have to play the game, honestly, to be able to just completely pinpoint what's wrong, what might be wrong, or if the adjustments are actually making things better compared to the open beta. But just by the looks of it, in my opinion, it looks too much. Like giving someone a penalty for just jumping, no movement, just jumping, stand still, jump, and you have ridiculous penalties when aiming down sights. In my opinion, that's just too much. It's going to ruin everything, in my opinion, when things are taken to a level where you can't even have any movement in your game. There has to be some sort of movement. You can't fool yourself, guys. Every single Battlefield game before Battlefield 6 had movement. The games you like, the games you remember, like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, going all the way back to Battlefield 2, those games also had movement mechanics that were specific to them and needed skill to actually master. So there's a fine line between balancing your movement and actually ruining it. And they should be actually taking this with utter and complete caution to be able to make something balanced and playable. Now let's take a look at Henderson Bridge. This is Conquest 64 layout. As you can see, we have A site, B site, D site, and E site spreading around a central site called C. So this is kind of the regular layout for every single map that I've seen in Battlefield 6, honestly. There's a central C site right there, and the other sides are spread around, making up the entire map. We can also see that we have vehicles like tanks and IFVs. Also, we've got helicopters, so it's going to be an all-out warfare huge map, okay? maybe not that huge, okay? It doesn't look to be super huge, but you're gonna have your full arsenal except for jets. So that's about Manhattan Bridge. You've probably seen gameplay as well because, well, people were playing this in Tokyo Game Show. And here you can see the layout for New Sobek City, and this is actually Conquest 64 again. Now, this one is a bit different. The sites look linear. C is not at the center. The other sites are not spread around. It's some sort of linear layout right here from A site all the way to E site. So we have 5 sites right there. And for vehicles, you've got all kinds of vehicle, IFVs, tanks, and all kinds of helicopters. Again, jets do not exist here, but in my opinion, they can actually change their mind about those kind of stuff later on. However, there are things you should know about Saints Quarter because we haven't seen any gameplay from Saints Quarter just yet, nothing official. However, this map is going to be infantry only. It's going to be a close quarters combat map designed for fast-paced infantry only fights, set around a fountain flanked by destructible buildings in Gibraltar's Old Town. In this picture, you can see how destruction actually works in this map. This is some part of the map before and after getting destroyed. Also, we have 3 pictures of the main map showcasing tight alleys and, in my opinion, very beautiful urban environment. At least for a close quarters map, this map will probably be something interesting and it's going to be intense. Some of these alleys actually remind me of Iberian Offensive, but I'm not really sure. It looks tighter, you know, it looks just a bit more compact, and you have to wait around not long to be able to play this map and see how's this gonna play. Now, this one is very interesting from Tom Henderson, guys. He says, quote, "I know a lot of people won't play Battlefield 6 for the campaign, but it looks like it needs a lot of work. It probably makes what would be a high 80s, low 90s Metacritic game a mid 70s at the moment." And in my opinion, guys, this is absolutely true. Some people in this community just want to cope, but if you take away that single player trailer that came out 2 days ago, and just sit there, actually look at the gameplay that some content creators actually posted, you're going to immediately understand that this entire campaign is incomplete. The AI are clueless. Everything looks rigid. Everything looks dry. And even the level design, in my opinion, looks absolutely, hilarious. And in my opinion, given the fact that we've had so many great campaigns like Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, I'm not gonna lie, even Battlefield 4 campaign wasn't something that bad. Some people didn't like it, and I understand it, but I really do believe that Battlefield 4 campaign was actually above average. But then again, you have to understand that if you're going to put an entire studio at work for making a single player campaign, it has to become something worth playing. It actually has to be something worthwhile. So that's about that. But now let's talk about Portal, okay? A trailer dropped yesterday. Nothing too fancy. It was like a 40-second trailer for Portal. But there are very interesting stuff that we're going to talk about, and we're going to dive deep into Portal to see what's going on with Portal 2. This is a completely new environment, okay? So let's take a look. Portal is back as a web-based browser editor via PC, tablets, and mobile devices with over 100 settings, including mutators, sliders, and more. Portal can be enjoyed on PC, Xbox, and PS5. Although it's possible to access the browser on certain consoles, Battlefield Studios recommends using Portal to build experiences on a PC browser. You can set game mode and map rotations. The settings include health regeneration, class, weapon, and gadget restrictions, health pools, damage outputs, player counts, mobility toggles, and more. The Partial Editor will let you create your own Battlefield maps by tweaking the existing multiplayer maps. You can transform, rotate, and scale objects on the maps, as well as redraw combat zones, HQs, sectors, and more to create new gameplay experiences. The open source development kit is the editor for Portal's partial editing feature. You can take direct control of UI elements and AI. In terms of AI, players will be able to set unique directives and behaviors. It can have select waypoints and pathing between ultimate objectives and select gadgets or weaponry against certain targets. In terms of UI, you can customize every widget, recreate from scratch via scripting, and switch them off. You can customize the scoreboard with unique modules according to your experience. There will be custom experiences and verified experiences. Custom experiences will gain XP based on time spent in the server, with a few steps removed from the core Battlefield experience. Verified experiences will gain full XP as they're similar to the core Battlefield gameplay. Hardcore servers and some specific 24/7 game mode servers will have normal XP. Both experiences will be highlighted in the server browser. There's a possibility that content creators might be able to put AI pathing tools to create scripted cinematics, which is kind of interesting. The server browser will only be available in Portal. If you own a copy of the game, you will have the ability to run one persistent Portal server you won't have to stay around in it for it to stay live. They're looking into the possibility again of adding controlled terrain, lighting, and mixing certain assets in future updates. And here you can take a look at the pictures of the entire Portal environment, let's say, being completely customizable. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really into customizing stuff. I'm really a lot more into just playing normal experiences. It's just a Conquest 64, you know? Give me my Conquest and I'll be all right, you know? I'm that kind of guy. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people really like to be as free as Portal 2 lets them be. And they really like to, you know, create experiences, make their own custom maps, lobbies. I don't really know. But if you're one of those guys, I'm pretty sure this entire thing will be to your liking. DICE actually says that Battlefield 6's Portal Builder will be a learning curve for players, and therefore they will provide a few introductory guides for players to get their feet wet, as well as several modes to learn from and tinker with. However, if you already have experience as creator, the builder won't include a blank canvas map to make whatever you want at launch, but it's coming sometime after release, as Battlefield Studios is still putting the final touches on it. Official creations that are similar to Battlefield's core gameplay loop, like 24/7 Rush or Hardcore Conquest, will grant the same amount of progression as if they were playing regular multiplayer modes, while creations that diverge from the traditional Battlefield formula will reward XP depending on how much time is spent in, which decreases the risk of exploits. Every single player who owns a copy of Battlefield 6 will be able to host one server and leave it active without requiring any input. So that is, in my opinion, perfect. Again, I'm not really that much into Portal. When I first heard about Portal 2, I was like, dude, we don't even need Portal 2 here. We already had Portal 1 and it sucked, right? But looking at this Portal, it actually makes sense for players who want to tinker with some stuff. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys who are into those kind of stuff will actually feel really good about what's coming. And we already have Dust 2 in Portal. You know, they're creating Dust 2 for Battlefield, which is, again, kind of awkward in my opinion, but you know, it is what it is. This is how things are going for Battlefield right now. So that's about today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope this was helpful, somewhat informative. Again, do make sure to go down in the comment section, let me know what you think about the video, and thank you all guys for watching. Until next time, guys, stay cool.